Hey friends, thank you for joining me. Welcome back. So I spent several minutes here, went and got a yardstick, plain old-fashioned yardstick, and a couple of pencils, a purple pencil and a black pencil, made marks, made dots, did all kinds of things. So I have a physical vanishing point right here, which certainly, anytime you have a vanishing point on the plane of the painting, it sure makes everything a lot easier. So I was able to straighten up all of these lines with that point. By the way, how did I determine that point? Well, I took all the lines that I drew, preliminary lines, and averaged them up. They were vanishing. The vanishing points went from here to here. So I basically took a middle point and said, okay, that's the average. We'll go with that. Now the other vanishing points, let me see. Should I even bother showing you what I did? I guess I will, because it's quite the trick. The vanishing point for all these lines, believe it or not, is right here. Am I on the camera? Yeah, I am. Okay, on this lamp, like the top of this triangle right here. So there's two things I can do. One is I can put my eye as close to this triangle as I can and see if all those lines are pointing at me. That's one thing I can do. The other thing I can do is quite the other way around. Come over here and, as if you're sighting down a gun barrel, look at all these lines and see if they're pointing at that black plastic triangle over there on the lamp halfway across the room. And I had to get a chair to stand up. The irony was these were almost perfect, but several of these needed little adjustments. So, but I would say I've learned this lesson, except that I had an experience about 6 or 8 months ago where I really botched it on a painting. I mean, I caught it and went back and fixed it, but I was horrified at how close I came to how bad I did on an initial drawing. And it took several hours of repairs, shall we say, to make the fixes. So now I am, of course, looking at the photograph quite a bit. And I'm drawing with much smaller brushes, and I'm drawing in a purple-ish raspberry color, I guess, if you want to use a decorator name. It's a combination of violet and quinacridone or magenta red. So I wanted to, and because the lines that I'm drawing right now are pretty small, they really do pop out. Which is what I want. Okay, so just making corrections, and I don't really think you need to watch me finish this out. Now, frankly, once I've got the basic perspective lines in place, I'm pretty comfortable eyeballing the small stuff in between. If that makes sense to you. Of course, I'm not going to put my complete weight down on any of these lines either. Throughout the entire painting process, of course, I'll be remeasuring, re-evaluating, and moving whatever lines I think need to be moved. Again, that same principle I talk about quite a bit. And it's that there's an irony here, and that is that students who are typically not extremely good drawers, forgive me, but students who are not that good at drawing tend to put down marks and believe them. As I say, die on that hill. Whereas good drawers tend to put down marks, I think, and not believe them. In other words, continue to make adjustments throughout the entire painting process. And of course, that's what I strongly recommend. Do not die on that hill. Just put down a mark like I did. My preliminary marks, I was concerned, very much with positioning on the canvas and so on and so on and so forth. So I got things kind of where I wanted it, but then then came back and double and or triple checked to see if the perspective was correct. And I will continue that process now throughout. But I know I'm a lot closer now than I was just a few minutes ago, so fairly confident that I'm pretty close to where I need to be. Okay, so again, I don't think you need to watch me do this whole thing. You've got the basic gist of it, and I'll let it go at that. And again, I think I'll probably be getting called for supper before I get to my next 462C, which will continue. I need, of course, big shake.